Okay, I'm going to film a Court of Silver Flames updates as I go, while also taking detailed chapter by chapter notes as I go, so I can upload the recap without having to read the book once so that I've read it and then go back and reread it, which is what I do every time because I just want to get through the book. I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm just going to avoid spoilers. This won't go up on my stories. By the time you're seeing this, I probably read it ages ago, but I don't want to post it for at least a week after publication date, just to give everyone a chance. First, let's start with what my expectations going in. Do I think it's going to be a 5-star read? No. I think it's going to have pacing issues and editing issues. I don't feel like they edit her books properly. I feel like she's on too short of deadlines. For a beast of a book of this fucking size to have gone through at least a couple of drafts, I don't believe it. I don't think she's properly edited, and I think I'm going to have problems with the pacing. I'm also hoping for plot over porn, substance over smart. Like, it's all well and good to have some of that. I usually like it a lot more when it's well written. Yeah, if you've read one Sarah J Maas sex scene, it feels like you've read them all. They read the exact same. So I've read it all before. I don't like. Now they've cut out the threesome scene. There's not really. What is she going to surprise me with in this? You know? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if she surprises me. Maybe she can go one whole sex scene without using growling or snarling or shattering, you know. We'll see. Maybe she'll surprise me. Maybe she'll spice it up a bit. You know, maybe she's learned. But I just want it to have some good editing. I want to enjoy it, but I do not believe it'll be a 5-star read for me. I'm not like a crazy Sarah J Maas stan. I love her books. I think they're fun, but I'm not afraid to give them the rating they deserve. Like, some stans can be terrifying, but like, I'm not here for the, like, I'll read a review where it was like, oh, it's really boring and confusing in the beginning, the pacing was really fucking awful, but that ending was amazing, 5 stars. I'm like, it's a trap. Like, and everyone falls into it. I'm like, terrible book, but let me put all of the action right at the end so that you end the book on a high, and then just completely just forget of like how much of a struggle it was to get through the book. I feel like people did that with Crescent City, where I'd read reviews where it was like, oh, it was really hard to get through and it was really boring in the beginning and the pacing was terrible and for half the book nothing really happened and I was bored, but the ending was incredible, 5 stars. And I'm like, I don't know, if I read like an 800-page book and wanted to fucking shoot myself for like 400 pages of it where it was boring me to fucking tears, I don't care how good your ending is, I'm not giving you 5 stars. You didn't earn it. You can't shove all your action into the end and think, oh, I'm gonna be that bitch who's like, oh, 5 stars. No, it's not me, Sarah. I'm not gonna do it. Do I have any predictions? No. I'm just curious about the like how things will play out between Cassian and Nesta, because I think she could really build up the tension between those two characters and make this even better than Court of Mist and Fury. Hopefully, but looking at the size of it, I'm worried that this is another book where they did not have time to actually give her an editor, let her do multiple drafts, and we're just getting word vomit onto the page that half the time is going to make me want to scream. We will see. It's going to go either one or two ways. This is either going to be a frustrating 3-star read, because I enjoy her books too much and find them too fun, I think, to be out here giving her book a 1 star. I really don't see myself doing that. I do love her characters, so I see a 3. Or it's going to go the complete opposite and she's going to really surprise me and I'm going to end up giving it 5 stars. I would prefer the 5 stars. We will see. So Court of Silver Flames starts with a little passage about her going into the cauldron, how that was. Then we find out that Faron Rhys constructed their house on that land he bought her. Cassian has been sent to get Nesta to go visit them. She is still living in a disgusting flat. And we get to be in Cassian's head and we get this. Those magnificent breasts might have been enough cause for him to begin courting her. About Nesta, why is it whenever a woman writes from a male point of view, they seem to obsess? They're like, oh, it's a man, so he's just going to be thinking about her tits constantly. Always. Always. Like, the guy's over 500 years old. He's seen, like, the man's probably seen endless amount of tits. He probably doesn't find them that fascinating anymore. I'd like to think. But instead, no, apparently he's like a horny teenage boy. Is she gonna ruin Cassian for me too? one thing that confuses me is right off the bat, Nesta, they're talking about how Nesta, as a way to keep her magic at bay, spends her days just drinking and fucking anything that moves. Like, we'll lovingly call it her hoe phase, you know, she should enjoy it. Some of us never got to experience it. If she wants to fuck away through all of the courts, I think she should do it. Enjoy. But the thing that confuses me is that keeps her magic at bay, but it was expressly stated in book 2 maybe. Rhys said that you have to use your magic, like he's always using his magic to do loads of stuff, because if not, it basically overwhelms you. He says if someone doesn't use their magic regularly, it will drive them insane. So, but apparently she's not using her magic at all. She's just fucking people, and that keeps it at bay. But how? I'm very confused. Maybe we'll get some explanation as to what that means. Like, does it actually keep it at bay, or does it just make her forget about it? Because Rhys literally said if you don't use it, it will drive you mad. Nesta is continuing to push everyone away and sabotage all the relationships she's slowly built on in the 3rd book. Can I understand her reasoning and like behind it? No, I can't. Not at this moment. But I also understand that everyone deals with trauma and grief differently. So if that's how she's choosing to deal with it, that's on her. But it doesn't make it any easier to read. It's really hard to read, and not because I'm like, oh, she's being a bitch, but just that it hurts, because she was building up such a better relationship with her sister, and she was willing to die for Cassian in the 3rd book. So she was building up these like friendships and bonds with people, and then just to watch her completely like just shut everybody out makes me sad. I feel bad for Nesta. But at least she's getting all the fairy dick she wants. So there's one plus. But clean your fucking sheets. This woman is not cleaning her sheets, and oof. A really random thing I want to bring up, because it drives me insane in books, TV shows and movies, is they talk about Nesta losing her virginity and how the man didn't realise until he saw blood on the sheets. They do it in movies, TV shows, all the time to signal that, oh, she was a virgin because there's blood. But I've literally never spoken to a woman who actually bled their first time. But there are people out there who genuinely do not know that not everyone bleeds when they lose their virginity, which doesn't matter to some people, but in some places it can be very dangerous if you don't bleed and someone thinks you are lying about being a virgin. Just wish we'd stop peddling that idea. Like, how in 2021 are we still doing this whole she bled, she's a virgin? But yeah, Nesta's gone too far, and she's pushed Feyre to the point where she's like, I'm not going to enable your fucking habits anymore. I'm not paying your rent. I'm not paying for your drinking. None of it. You have 2 options. You can either go live in the House of Wind and then train with Cassian in the mornings every single day, and in the afternoons you'll work in the library, or you can go back to the human lands, which will not be fun for you because you're Fae now. And Feyre's like, I'm having your apartment building condemned. It's being knocked down and rebuilt as a shelter, like, so you're gonna have to do it. So I guess that's gonna be the starting plot, her training with Cassian and working in the library. I don't know where we're going with the book. I guess we'll see. Then we find out Cassian spent 4 months with the Illyrians, smoothing things over, making it very clear that they'd be held to pay if they rose up against Rhys, because that was what was kind of being shown to be where the plot would be going in A Court of Frost and Starlight. They were talking about a big rebellion coming with the Illyrians, but now they're like, oh no, that's over and done with. But we will see if it actually is. Rhys wants to give Cass more responsibility because he believes that the human queens are starting to scheme, and he wants him to go look into it. So yeah, I really have no clue where this book is going. Okay, so Mor has been off in one of the other territories, and she comes back to speak to Cassian, and she's like, the king and queen there don't want to sign the treaty. And basically, I have made many a joke. I love Sarah J. Maas. I know it looks like I shit all over her. But, like, again, love-hate relationship, okay? I can't help it. But I've made many a joke that she just writes the same character story over and over again. You know, it's a part of a joke, but also entirely not a joke because she does. But now I'm getting very worried that she's literally about to just rewrite the original trilogy, in the main plot is just, we want to take over the human world, and now we're going to go to war to protect the humans so the Fae don't take over the... You wrote that. I've already read that. I don't want to read it again. Please tell me that's not where we're going. Oh. Also, now we throw into the mix the fact that Nesta is being forced to train with Cassian. I feel like we're just stepping into a Court Mist and Fury territory, where Feyre was doing the exact same thing with Rhys, and that helped her get over everything she was dealing with, and then fell in love with him. Like, are we literally just going to do that storyline over again, but just with Nesta and Cassian? And the big war is again going to be humans and Fae going to war together to try and get territory. Like, honey, Sarah, I read that book. I read it for you. I read like 800 fucking pages of it in ACOTAR. Please don't do it to me again. I read it once. Please. Write something new. Come up with a new idea. Please. So part of the reason they don't want to sign is because the Immortal Queens are stirring and they think there will be another war, which I'm like, what are the Immortal Queens gonna fucking do against Fae? Like, someone just needs to go and kill them. I don't know, like, she really dragging this out. Like, oh, they can't kill them. They could. Like, you're magical fucking Fae. You could have just hunted them down and killed them all, but then she wouldn't have a plot for this second book series that looks like it's just going to be an exact replica of her first main plot from her other book. Like, please don't do it to me, Sarah. I want to love this. I want to give it 5 stars. Do not copy the exact same storyline you've already used. If you bring back the cauldron, I'm gonna throw a hissy fit. Do not. We have to nullify the cauldron. Again, do not do it. Do not. Stop writing books if you don't have any more ideas. Just stop. Please do not bring the cauldron back. Lord help me. So Cassian's plan is to go talk to Vassa because she knows the Mortal Queens, obviously, because she is one. Lucien has become very close to Jurian and Vassa. They all live together in this little house. I don't know if they're having some polyamorous love affair. Like, that could be fun. Maybe we should do that. Maybe that was the threesome she cut out of the book series. Yeah, they all live together. I don't really know what's going on with her. Like, she's supposed to be under a spell and trapped, but like the man's just like let her off and she can just run around doing whatever she wants right now. We also kind of learn more about like Nesta's childhood and how close she was with her mum, because that wasn't made clear in book 1. Like, Feyre was like, their mum hated all the kids. She had no interest in any of the children. Like, that's what she said. But according to Nesta, it wasn't the case. Her mum had no interest in the other 2, but loved Nesta. So that's why she was always close to the mum. They loved their dad. And it's why she hates her dad so much, because he didn't save her mum. Another thing we find out is that Thomas boy from the first book, who she was going to get married to, that she broke things off with, he tried, like, he put his hands on her when she broke things off, and also tried to assault her, like, sexually assault her. So he's been brought up now, so he's coming back at some point. Something about it, like, I feel like she's mentioned him. That's going to come back. Hopefully he's coming back to be killed. Okay, so Nesta's like refusing to eat. Obviously, like, she's going through some shit. She's handling it in her own way, but Cassian makes a mistake, like the big mistake, which is to be like, you're not the only person who's gone through this and lost people. We've all lost people. It's like, yes, but the number one rule is that we don't try and compare our trauma and our grieving process with other people's, because people handle things completely different. No 2 people are the exact same, and no 2 situations are the exact same. Like, they're just not. Or just don't do it, Cassian. Keep your mouth shut. Also, something that's brought up here is Nesta mentions she once let Cassian lick and nuzzle her throat. When? Did I miss that? I literally just reread the books. I don't remember that. She also mentions kissing him on the battlefield. That I remember. Do not remember this man licking her neck. And I worried that she was going to ruin Cassian for me, and I feel like she is, because she's turning him into, like, horny teenage boy, not 500-year-old man. Like, he's literally obsessing over the way her ass looks in pants and talking about peeling them off and worshipping her ass. Great. Love that. So they head to Windhaven for the first training session. Devlon's there being all fucking weird about it, saying that if Nesta touches any weapons because she's a woman, they'll have to bury them. Some, like, weird superstition, apparently. And if she's on a period, she's not allowed to touch anything. Again, isn't the Feywild just great for women? Fucking hate it. Hate it. Fuck the Feywild. Honestly. I wish I had any talent, because I would write a fucking fantasy world where it's the exact opposite. Fuck it. Equality? No, I'm just gonna do the exact opposite. I'm gonna have all the men treated like absolute fucking shit, because I'm so done with these books. Even in fantasy worlds, where women are on the fucking bottom, getting raped and murdered, and told to follow gender roles and getting knocked up and acting like they're just cum depositories instead of fucking real people. Done with it. Done with it. I don't want to write a book where everyone's equal. No, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm just going to fucking reverse role it. Just have the men be treated like shit all the fucking time. So done with this in books. Nesta just refuses to participate in the training, like embarrasses him. So she also goes for her first library shift, just shows books for a while. Then Cassian goes to see Vassar, Lucian, and Jurian. What is the deal with Jurian? Like, he was resurrected. Is it the fact that they resurrected him, that he came out of the cauldron still human, and everyone else who's gone in came out immortal and fey? So, like, could he go back into the cauldron and come out an immortal fey this time? I don't know. I'm curious about that. Because everyone else went in and came out fey and immortal, and this guy, he just got to come back as a normal, boring fucking human. Poor man. Eris is also there because he has several dozen of his soldiers have just magically disappeared. He says that his hounds found no trace of them, but detected a strange scent that is kind of human but seems off. And like, it's just getting flashbacks to Throne of Glass. Are we gonna get like a series crossover finally? But yeah, Cassian asks Vassar like, what human queen would be bold enough to do this? And she says Briarlyn. I'm just gonna go with the name Briarlyn. Anyone who listened to this on audiobook, just be aware, I did not. I'm reading it as I go. I will be butchering every fucking new name that comes up. So feel free to send me audio clips on how in the audiobook you're actually supposed to pronounce these names. Because for now, I'm going with Briarlyn. Because Briarlyn? I don't know. I'm going with Briarlyn because I like that. But yeah, she's the one who got turned high fae by the cauldron but came out a withered old lady. So she is pissed. And she is apparently alone in the Queen's palace now. All the other queens have gone off for some reason. And Vassar thinks she's being helped by the sorcerer who turned her, like who put the spell on her. Who also just so happens to be the Carver and Weaver's other brother that they were talking about. And apparently his name is, again, let's butcher names. Koshi, who knows. But that guy. She thinks he's helping. He's confined to the lake due to an ancient spell that was put on him. He got tricked once, so now he is stuck at the lake, but she thinks he's helping the queen because he's trying to find some way to free himself. He is known as the Deathless, and she says he is truly immortal. He cannot be killed, he cannot die, unlike the Fae, who are technically immortal, but are they? Because like they can be killed. But do they die of old age? I can't remember. I feel like they do, maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, I still can't remember how the Fey immortality works. Because if they're immortal, then they should live forever. You do not die. They can be killed, but they should not die of like old age. That should not be possible because they're fucking immortal. But so far, we haven't met anyone really fucking old. Like, Rhys is like 500 years old, but where are the people who are like, 3,000 years old, 4,000, 5,000? Like, the oldest people we've met aren't actually Fae. They're like Amren and things. So are they immortal? Or does she just not know what immortal means? Eris reveals his dad has already agreed to work with Briarlyn and pledged his armies to her for the war she wants to have, and I just really do think I'm going to read ACOWAR 2.0. Kill me now. But, he says his dad went to visit her months ago to organise it all, and he let him take some of his soldiers, who are the ones who have now suddenly gone missing. And he says when they came back from the visit, they were strange and aloof and different. I'm getting weird, like, vibes from Throne of Glass. Was it the Valg, where you could put them inside people? Like, are we going to finally get, like, a series crossover? Because you can go between the worlds, so are we finally going to get Throne of Glass meets ACOTAR? Back at the House of Wind, Nesta has decided she wants to go out drinking, but she can't fly down, obviously, so she'll have to take the stairs, and it's 10,000 steps from the top to the bottom. She's like, I can do this. So she starts making her way down, and this girl gets she cannot go further, apparently, than 111 steps down. What? I'm sorry. I am sorry. I don't care how unfit she is. She's going downstairs, which is infinitely easier than going upstairs, and 110 steps is not a lot. There are stations in London that come with warnings because they have a lot of steps. I think the most is a 320 step one. But the warning really isn't for going down, because going down is easy, even though it's in a spiral and you do get dizzy. That is true. Going down is so much easier. It's the going up that fucking kills you. But this girl goes 111 steps and she's like, I can't go any further. Can't go any further. Pathetic. Like, do some training if you can't go further than 110 steps. But then she turns around and goes back up, which is 10 times harder. Come on, Sarah. So she gets back up the stairs and Cassian is there and he mocks her for only being able to get up 111 of them, as he should. It's embarrassing. But I loved Cassian, but she's literally turned him into, like, when you watch the like American Pie and stuff, she's literally turned him into like a horny teenage boy who's never had sex before. Because one minute they're just sitting there arguing, then the next minute he's thinking about Nesta giving him a hand job, and I'm like, you're 500 years old, mate. I don't even think it's him. I think it's just Sarah. That's all that's on her mind right now. I mean, she's been married a while. She's got a kid. Maybe her real sex life is drier than the Sahara Desert right now, and so that's all that's coming out of her. But I'm like, I love Cassian. Can we have him not have the mindset of horny teenager who's never been fucked before? Nesta goes shopping in Windhaven. She finds Emery, the shop owner from Court Frost and Starlight. You know, that pointless novella that literally had zero fucking point to it, other than for Sarah to start putting across that suddenly I've had a baby now, so now Feyre wants to have a baby, even though for 2 whole books I specifically had made them have more than one conversation about how much they didn't want to have children. But I've had children, so now she must have children, which I really don't get it. I don't care for the we went to war and like I've realised how precious life is and we should have a child. I don't buy that from the woman who's literally already died once. I think she already fucking knows how precious life is. She's already died once. Then Nesta goes for a shift in the library. She meets another priestess called Gwyneth, or Gwyn. I love her. She's only popped up once and I already love her. I'm curious though, because she's kind of popped out of nowhere. So I love her, but I'm suspicious of her. She could betray them. She could be a plant. We don't know. But also, could she be Moore's love interest? Because if she's going to pair off every single fucking straight character she has, you best believe I want her bisexual character to get a romance. And I love Gwyn. She's come up once in the book, and I love her already. So I am shipping that, even though they've never fucking met. Nesta once again tries to get down the stairs. Another pathetic attempt. She falls this time. Manages to grip hold of a stair. She fucking fucks herself up a lot though. She uses her powers because she kind of like leaves a burning handprint in the stairs. Because she's just been pretending that her powers have gone since she used them ACOWAR. But they're there. She's just trying really hard never to use them. At training the next day, Cassian even begs her to train and she's still like, nope, I'm not training here. Go away. And she notes that she likes him because he just radiates masculinity. But one thing she notes about the House of Wind is that it's in charge, which I kind of remember that, but she fucking talks to it and it does stuff for her, like refuses to bring her food and like turns on the fires, turns them off when she wants. She'll ask it for smitey romances and it'll bring it to her, which this was never a thing for anyone else. So I'm curious if this again just something that Sarah's like added over time, as she is prone to do, or it's just not as enchanted as she thinks it is, and all of her requests are secretly going to Rhys or Feyre, and they're like, my god, she wants another smutty romance? Jesus fucking Christ. Okay then. Because where was this in any of the other books? We're at chapter 11 now, and I just want to say that so far there is not much of an actual plot to the story yet, but you know, it's Sarah. Like I said, the pacing is always terrible, so I was expecting that. But so far it's been like a rinse and repeat of the same process, which is they go to train, she refuses, they go and fight, she goes to the library, they think about fucking each other, they go to train, she refuses, then they have a fight, then she goes to the library, they think about fucking each other, and it just repeats. Like, it's getting a little dull, and we're only on chapter 11. Where's my plot? So yes, they have yet another fight, and Nesta is like, Rhys is an arrogant, preening asshole, and I fucking hate him. And Cassian's like, good, he fucking hates you too. Everyone hates you, you fucking miserable bitch. Which is funny. He was like, the training was supposed to help you. But yeah, Feyre comes to see Cassian, and he's like, why can't you and your sister just get along? She's like, it's always been that way. Like, our mother only ever cared for Nesta. Only ever Nesta. And I'm like, book 1, bitch. You said your mum hated all the kids, though she never wanted any kids. She didn't like any of you. You just make this shit up as you go along. But she was like, but Feyre doesn't hate you. I know what it's like when Feyre hates people, and Feyre definitely doesn't hate you, Cassian. But yes, then we get here that Rhys is practicing a new kind of shield to protect people, and he has it on Feyre. It shields her whole body, even shields her scent. Okay. And my thing is like, okay, great. But why is he practicing it? A full body shield on her so they can't even touch her. They can't smell her. I wonder, what could it be? Why could he want to protect her smell from everyone? Like, really, you couldn't even wait? Are you really going to knock Feyre up? I want to scream. I don't care. I know some people are like, oh, they have a baby together. How romantic. She's 21. She's not even 22 yet. she's fucking immortal, and you gave me 2 whole books of her talking about how much she wanted to just spend time with him and have adventures with him and live a fucking life before she popped out a kid. She's only 21 and she's immortal. Why are you knocking her up straight away? And also, it's not even been a year since that book. Why did you specify that Faye really struggled to get pregnant? And then just have, but not Reese and Feyre, because they're fucking special in every single way. So everyone else really struggles and can spend years and years and years getting pregnant. But them all pregnant in months because they're just so special in every single way. And maybe he is just practicing the shield, but why else would it be specified? Like, oh, I can't even smell you. Come on. Oh, like, I hate it. I'm sorry, I do. I know some people are like, oh, cute. No, it's not fucking cute. You get me, it's inconsistent. You get me 2 whole books of her going on and on with Reese about how much they did not want to have kids straight away, how they wanted to wait years and spend time together, just the 2 of them. And also, can you figure out how your fucking kids age? Because you've got kids in one book that are 50 plus years old and still little kids. But I guarantee you that Feyre's children are going to age fucking normally because you can't keep anything consistent. Not your characters, not your world building, nothing. It annoys me to no end. If this girl is pregnant, I hate it. I hate it. I don't find it cute. I find it fucking stupid that you spent 2 whole books specifically going on and on and on about how they don't want to have kids and then get knocked up in real life and suddenly like, let me just change my character because she's a self-insert. So if I have a son, she needs to also get pregnant and have a son. Oh, fuck off. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I know it's just a me thing and loads of other people find pregnancy in books really cute, but I fucking no, I don't, especially when you specifically stated your character doesn't want to get pregnant anytime soon and you only change the character's mind, not because it makes sense to the story, not because it makes sense to the character, but because you've got pregnant and you've had a baby, so now you want to suddenly change what you've built into your own character. It's the inconsistency I hate. And also that she just makes her books up as they go along, and that her first 2 characters were literally just self-inserts. Like the blonde-haired, character. Come on. They're literally just Sarah J Maas. They are. It's a self-insert. It's why she's pregnant, and I guarantee that she's pregnant. If she's pregnant, she's having a son. Sarah J Maas also had a son. Like, come on, we know. Ugh. Drives me insane. And, like, obviously, if she's pregnant anyway, she's having a son because she was like, oh, the bone carver showed that I would have a son. But how did the bone carver know? I thought it was just like a general idea of what their child would look like. But they act like that's their son. Their son's going to come out and look like that. How would he know? How do any of these creatures work? Give me answers. I fucking, like, give me some answers. I need answers to how this man apparently knows exactly what their future unborn child will look like. Okay, the next day Cassian goes and tells Nesta that they're not going to train in Windhaven anymore. They're going to train at the house because he's kind of realised that she just doesn't want to humiliate herself in front of loads of people. And he says that he'll make a bargain with her. If she trains with him for an hour, he will owe her a favour. She agrees. They spend like an hour just training like how to stand and balance and then like breathing techniques and a cool down. And he's like, oh, I didn't mean what I said about everyone hating you. He was like, I don't hate you. And she's like, I've never hated you. And then afterwards, she's like, and then he released the breath he'd been holding. And I'm like, Sarah, honey, no. No. So, Nesta's in the library. Gwyn finds her again. They have some more moments. I love Gwyn. I love her. She's here. She says she works for someone who in the library called Meryl, who's very demanding. And she's accidentally given her the wrong volume of a book. She also revealed she was originally from Sangravar or something. I can't remember. Again, butchering all the names. Forgive me. But yeah, Nesta like uses the enchanted house. She's like, find me the book, and it does. And again, the house was never doing this shit for Feyre. Part of me thinks there's like Feyre or Reese doing it. Otherwise, again, she's just adding stuff as she goes along. But she sneaks into Meryl's office and puts the book where it's supposed to be so that Gwyn doesn't get in trouble, and then goes to find Gwyn and tell her. And she asks what Meryl's researching, and she says a lot of things, but she is obsessed with the theory about there being different realms and different worlds. Are we finally getting a crossover series? Because, like, technically we could, because we had that moment in Throne of Glass that proved that, like, where she fell through all the worlds. So you could. We could. Like, I haven't kept up with like interviews or I know she's been doing loads of live shows, but I tried to watch a few and they spent most of it not talking about the book, so I stopped watching them. So I don't know if she's addressed it, but we might actually be getting a world crossover here, people. It could happen. And then Nesta asks Cassian about Sangravar and what happened there, because Gwyn was a priestess there, and he says that Hybern went there to find the hidden part of the cauldron, like the cauldron's foot that was there or whatever, I can't remember, and that they slaughtered most of the priestesses and raped the ones who were left alive, and obviously Gwyn was one of them. Then Cassian and Rhys go to the Spring Court to meet with Eris, because it's like neutral ground apparently, and Eris is like, we should kill the Mortal Queens now, and they're like, no, it'll cause trouble and people will know. You should have done it ages ago. I agree with Eris, man, but we can't do that because then we won't have a plot for this book. But literally they should have just, they promised Nesta they would kill the queens and she would help them. She helped them. They should have hunted down the queens and killed them. I'm just saying. But yeah, he thinks his father wants to try and take the Springlands, because rumour is that Tamlin doesn't spend any time in his human form now. He just runs around in his beast form, and he's like completely destroyed his manor and stuff. Then we get more time with Gwyn in the library. Again, I love her. They're like down somewhere dark, and there's this presence in the dark that seems to be following Nesta. And also, something I've noticed is Nesta is getting all the credit for killing the king. Like, everyone's like, oh, she killed the king of Hybern. I'm like, firstly, I'm just gonna say it. No, she should not be getting the credit for killing the king. I don't fucking care that she's the one who grabbed the knife and sliced off his head. She did shit. She was laying on top of Cassian about to fucking die. Elaine killed the king. Elaine's the one who come up behind him and stabbed him in the throat. All you did was grab that knife and like move it around a bit to chop his head off. Well, you couldn't have done that if Elaine hadn't done what she did. Elaine should get the credit. I don't give Elaine much, but everyone's like, you killed the king. Bitch, she was laying down. She was about to be fucking killed. Elaine killed the king. Put some respect on Elaine's name. But yeah, her and Cass continue training. Then she's reading a lot of smutty romance, and the house seems to be giving her more and more, and the house seems like, she's like, oh, the house seems to have read them as well. Like, I'm just saying that I don't think it's why did the house never do this for Feyre? I still think it's Feyre doing it, and they're gonna have a moment later where it's like, no, you've been sending the smutty romances back to me, let's bond. Like, I'll probably be proved wrong, but why wasn't the house this receptive to Feyre ever? Never did any of this for Feyre. It just seems odd to me. I don't understand how the whole thing works, but she's acting like the house is literally reading the smutty romances as well and sending them to her. No. Just no. It better be that Feyre's doing it. Then we get a section where Cassian talks about some of the people he's put into prison, which guaranteed these monsters are now going to pop up, because she never brings up anything unless it's going to pop up again. There's one that fathered all of the Boggy. There's like one called Lubia, one called Blue Anis, and he's like, oh, if these broke out, it would be bad. Then he tries to talk to Nessa about her powers, and they once again have a fight. This is what they do, you know. Train, fight. It's boring. But yeah, they get into a fight, and she pushes him up against a wall, and they both get turned on. And he says that he thinks about her face the first time he met her, because he could see the power in her eyes even then. And she can't sleep that night because she's thinking of Cassian touching himself, so then she has to touch herself, and like, I don't care. I just want a plot. It's just all porn at the minute. I don't fucking care. Where's my plot? I'm not sex deprived enough for all of, like, I'm sorry, but if I'm paying for an expensive fucking hardback in like multiple different editions, I want plot. I need plot. I don't need, like, porn is free online. I can get porn for free. I can get smut for free on AO3, and it will be way better written than any of this. Not all of them. Some of them are bad, but you can, there's good ones. But hers are poorly written and just weird. And then we get a scene about Cassian talking about how he pleasured himself 3 times the night before, and I'm like, oh wow, am I supposed to be impressed that the horny teenage boy is jacking off all night? Like, what am I reading? I don't care. Where's the plot? Then we get to find out some more. They talk about the blood riot, and he's like, oh, they have to scale the mountain, and it's topped by 3 stars, and the 3 stars have names. We're only just learning them now, apparently. And where you are when you touch the stone is where you're ranked. They have names based on the stars. So if you don't make it to the mountain, but you live through the riot, you're like Arctosian or something. And then I think it's like Oristian. I really don't remember, like people who make it to the mountain but don't make it to the peak. And if you touch, there's this black stone at the top of it that transports you out. And I think those are like Corinthians or something. I really should have wrote it down. I'll find them and put them here, the correct words. are the people who touch the top. And obviously, of course, her powerful, strong main male characters, of course, they reached it, 3 of only 6 people to have done it in the last 500 years. But yeah, so she's like trying to ask about why is it so hard to get female Illyrian warriors, and he's like, well, they'd have to go through that, and I don't want them to have to go through the blood riot because, you know, apparently men can't control themselves in this world. They're all horrible, terrible people, and they will sexually assault all the women if they take part in the blood riot. So they can't, but they can't be respected as soldiers if they don't go through it. So basically, we can't have women soldiers. Great. Ugh. But yeah, and she's like, can you train the priestesses in the library if I invite them? He's like, I will, but they probably won't come. They don't really want to be around men. So like, and he's like, she was like, we can bring more. If the more comes and Gwyn comes, could this be the start of an epic romance, people? Could it? Maybe. She puts up a sign-up sheet, but nobody signs up for it, at least not yet. Then Elaine comes to visit her. They get into a bit of a fight, and Nesta throws it in her face that Elaine slept with Grayson a month before she was turned Fae. She also gets mad because Elaine tries to mention their father, and she's like, basically tries to suggest it's Elaine's fault that he died for not killing the king sooner. Like, she's just trying to hurt her on purpose, which a proper dick move, bitch. You didn't kill the king soon enough. You laid down on Cassian and did sweet fuck all, love. You don't have a leg to stand on. But yeah, Elaine goes to find Rhys crying and asks her to take him home. And Cassian goes to find Nesta to find out what happened, and they have another fight. I knew her lack of time to do multiple drafts and get a decent editor would fuck this pacing, because we are 30% into the book now and it has been a whole lot of nothing. It's just training, shelving books, fighting, being like unable to go up and down some stairs and being a horny teenager, training, shelving books, fighting, repeat. Nesta and Cassian get into another fight. Oh, God, didn't see that coming. Jeez. And like, to prove a point, she kisses him, he kisses her back and gets ridiculously turned on, and she palms him for his trousers, and he comes like that. Which, I know I shouldn't judge the man, but I am. He's over 500 years old and he's got the stamina of I don't even know what. But he literally came in 30 seconds after being palmed for his trousers. I would not be very confident on his performance in the bedroom, especially when this man is apparently wanking 3 times a night. Like, how are you coming that quickly? Okay, I've just turned the page and I love it because apparently Nesta was thinking exactly what I was thinking. She thinks he regrets it, so to her, she's like, oh, someone's quick off the mark. Yes, see? Why is he that quick? Is Cassian bad in bed? I guess we will see. Of course he's not going to be at Sarah J Maas. Everyone's a fucking god. Okay, so now Cassian and Nesta are being called to the house to meet with Feyre and Rhys. I wonder what they could have to tell them. Please don't be pregnant. Please don't be pregnant. Especially not as you're about to go to fucking war. Great time to get pregnant. How fucking useful are you going to be? Is this another battle you're going to sit out on, bitch? Please don't be pregnant. Yeah, I really don't want it to be, but she still has the shield round her, and he's like, oh, Cassian's like, really? I can't even kiss her on the cheek because it's literally coating her whole body so they can't smell her or touch her. Bitch is fucking pregnant. Ugh. But yeah, apparently Az has been watching Brylin for a week, and the other queens have fled from her, and she wants to find the cauldron. She wants to find the cauldron to retrieve her youth, and like, I am about to read the exact same book series, just repeated. Fucking kill me. They have a theory that the sorcerer guy has been communicating with the queen and has told her about something called the Dread Trove. Now, what's the Dread Trove, you ask? The cauldron made some objects, and they know about 3 of them, and they are called the Dread Trove. Yes, people, we're doing it again. This is Harry Potter. This is Mortal Instruments. There are 3 magical objects we must hunt down. Yeah! Fucking hell, it's not the Mortal Instruments this time, people. It's not the Deathly Hallows. It's the Dread Trove. Exciting. Those 3 items are the mask, the crown, and the harp. The mask can raise the dead. It's a death mask moulded from the face of a long-forgotten king, and if you wear it, you can summon the dead and command them. So, you know, dead army, that could cause problems. The harp can open any door between worlds, physical and other between worlds. So yes, maybe we will finally get a Throne of Glass meets ACOTAR thing. And the crown can influence anyone and pierce through the mightiest of mental shields, but you have to be in close proximity. You know, she added something there, so it's not too easy. And they've since just been lost. And then Feyre asks the question. Feyre asks, like, what Nesta took from the cauldron. She's like, I don't know, I just took something it didn't want me to have. I don't fucking know, I just grabbed it and went. So if Brylin can gather all 3 objects together, she could use it and use their combined maid essence to track down the cauldron. Please don't make me read the same fucking book again. Why? It's the same story, Sarah. It's the same story. And I had one question, and thankfully Feyre asked the same fucking question. If this thing has existed the whole entire time this world has been created, it hasn't. Sarah's just made it up as she fucking goes along like everything else. But if it had been, why did we not find it? Because we needed the cauldron, and this could have been useful. And Amren's like, I don't know, it was just easier to find it another way. But it wasn't, was it? It was just that you hadn't made that thing up yet. Now you've made it up. And now she's trying to say, she says that, but then she says, actually, the Dread Trove is like magical, and it just magically makes you forget about it. And then Thingy's like, well, if it magically makes you forget about it, why could Thingy tell us about it? How did he remember? She's like, it must have just decided that it wants us to know now. Oh, fucking, that's convenient, Sarah. That's fucking convenient. Maybe I could write a book. See, maybe I could. But Elaine's like, yeah, that's fine. You can use me to track down the Dread Trove. And Nesta gets mad, and she's like, no, the last time that we did that, used powers to try and track down the cauldron, it abducted you. I still don't know how the cauldron was able to magically abduct a person. Like, I don't fucking understand any of her worlds sometimes. I feel like it's never explained properly. And Amren says because Elaine and Nesta were made, they are immune to the influence and power of the Trove. They could use them themselves, but they can't be used on them. And Elaine has a go at Nesta and says something that is just perfect. And she says, I went into the cauldron too, and yet somehow all you think of is what my trauma did to you. And it's so true. So fucking true. Like, it's because Nesta only thinks about herself, to be honest. She's very, very fucking selfish. She is. I love her at times, but she's fucking selfish. She just thinks about how everything affects her, not what anyone else has gone through. But yeah, Elaine gets up and leaves, and then Nesta's like, can't you look for it, Feyre? You're made too. And Feyre's like, I can't risk it because I'm pregnant. Shock. I'm shocked. Great time to get pregnant, bitch. When we're about to go to war, you're going to be fucking useful. And apparently the shield is like a compromise because Rhys basically wants her to be trapped by his side for the next 10 months because Fae pregnancies are 10 months, not 9 months. Good luck with your 50-year-old baby, which is not going to have the same aging process that she explained in book 1 because now she's realised how hella inconvenient her own world building was, but we'll ignore it. Fuck it. Just be consistent. Just plan out your books in advance. Write down your world building, remember it, and stick to it. It ain't fucking hard. But also, why did you go on and on and on about how hard it is for Faye to get pregnant? As soon as she said that, I knew that Feyre and Rhys would get pregnant like that because her fucking characters have to be the most special characters ever invented, and nothing applies to them. And yes, I'm a salty fucking bitch. What can I say? Again, I can't talk about the things I enjoy about a book. But yeah, Nesta agrees that she will look for the trove then to stop Elaine from having to do it. Feyre then tells Nesta, like, oh, I wanted you to know first that it's going to be a boy because the bone carver showed me that it would be a boy. Again, how does he know? Nesta asks that, like, how does he know? And she's like, I don't know, he just knew. Okay, I'm going to take a break. We've just got to chapter 22. It's going very slow for me, but these won't be uploaded on my Instagram until after I finished. I'm filming them as I go, but I want to avoid spoilers. I might upload them onto my blog very quickly so people can watch them if they want, and then I can do these updates on my Instagram very late after the book comes out because I really don't want to risk spoiling anything for people. So I think I said a week, but I'll probably wait longer than that because I think some people, unfortunately, their copies are being really held up. So I don't know why I'm saying that. If I am going to do that, none of you will see, you'll see this after the fact. But yes, that's my plan. I'm hoping to not put this up on the Instagram until the book's hopefully been out for a couple of weeks. Okay, I'm going to take a break. We've just got to chapter 22. It's going very slow for me, but these won't be uploaded on my Instagram until after I finished. I'm filming them as I go, but I want to avoid spoilers. I might upload them onto my blog very quickly so people can watch them if they want, and then I can do these updates on my Instagram very late after the book comes out because I really don't want to risk spoiling anything for people. So I think I said a week, but I'll probably wait longer than that because I think some people, unfortunately, their copies are being really held up. So I don't know why I'm saying that. If I am going to do that, none of you will see, you'll see this after the fact. yes, that's my plan. I'm hoping to not put this up on the Instagram until the book's hopefully been out for a couple of weeks.